Do you think the horror ends when the credits roll? What if I told you that some of the scariest movies in history hid real horrors behind the scenes? Fatal accidents, curses, and inexplicable events turned fiction into reality, leaving cast and crew haunted by their experiences. Today, we'll dive into the chilling stories behind classics like The Exorcist and Poltergeist. These films became legendary not only for their terrifying plots, but for the real-life tragedies, an eerie phenomena that plagued their productions. Beware, what you're about to discover might forever change the way you watch horror movies. The fine line between fiction and reality blurred, and the terrifying events behind the scenes became stories as chilling as the films themselves. Did you know the terror of Amityville didn't start with the movie? It all began on that fateful night in 1974, when 6 members of the defy family were murdered in their sleep. But what truly made this story legendary were the events that followed, turning it into one of the most chilling real facts of modern horror. It's hard not to shiver imagining the midnight sounds and the shadows seen wandering the halls, as described by later residents. Here, the sound of slow footsteps can heighten the tension. As if someone were approaching, the house's atmosphere seemed to hold something sinister, waiting to be discovered. When James Brolin, the lead in the 1979 adaptation, read the script for the first time, something inexplicable happened. In the dead of night, his pants fell off a hanger on their own, a simple event, yet he took it as a sign to accept the role. Small moments like this blur the lines between coincidence and the supernatural. The strange occurrences didn't stop there. In the 2005 remake, the cast experienced unsettling events. Actors began waking up every night at 3:15 a.m., the exact time of the real-life murders. Coincidence or something more sinister? Such moments make one question what lingers in that house beyond history. Have you ever heard of the Dybbuk box? This cursed artifact inspired the movie The Possession. A simple wooden box, yet it holds a dark history that scares even skeptics. On set, strange events happened. Lights exploded without reason, leaving everyone wary. But the real horror came when a fire consumed the real box stored away. Nothing was left of the box but silence, and the chilling thought that something escaped with the flames. And if you found such an object in your home, would you keep it? The Dybbuk box doesn't just tell a story. It carries an aura that unsettles even the strongest skeptics, blurring lines between fear and reality. Jeffrey Dean Morgan, known from The Walking Dead, admitted that after filming a scene touching the Dybbuk box replica, he suffered terrible nightmares. Imagine, how would you cope if a mere object started interfering with your life? Sometimes, it's not us choosing objects, they seem to choose us. To this day, legends about the Dybbuk box persist. Visitors to the box, now displayed in a US museum, report nausea, chills, and even hearing whispers in its presence. Would you be brave enough to face an artifact so steeped in history and terror? Perhaps some mysteries are better left untouched. Who would have thought a true story could outdo fiction in fear? The Conjuring showcased the parent family's case, but on set, strange winds began to blow despite calm weather. It seemed minor, but this occurred repeatedly during key scenes. Some believe the environment itself resisted the film, rejecting its story. It wasn't just the winds. Actress Vera Farmiga, who played Lorraine Warren, had chilling experiences. One morning, she opened her laptop to find claw marks on the screen, as if something had scratched it overnight. Days later, similar marks appeared on her leg. Imagine waking up with inexplicable marks on your body. How would you react? Even the Warrens, famous paranormal investigators, warned the crew of the dangers of handling such charged stories. Lorraine Warren, present during filming, felt presences on set. Would you feel safe working on such a film? It's like stirring a snake's nest, unsure if you're ready for the bite. What truly happened during filming, and what might still linger? Not all answers come easily, especially when dealing with the paranormal. The terror left its mark, literally and figuratively. Perhaps some mysteries are better left unexplored, for the stories we tell might awaken things we can't control. Some tragedies remind us the deepest terror doesn't need ghosts. In 1982, Twilight Zone, the movie was marked by an accident so horrifying it became a real fact of cinema. During a war scene, a helicopter lost control, killing Vic, Morrow, and 2 children. The image of the disaster haunted all who saw it. More haunting were the events before the tragedy. Vic Morrow reportedly had premonitions of his death. In a scene, he said he wouldn't survive this. Shortly after, the helicopter crashed directly onto him. When does coincidence end and fate begin? Have you ever felt something bad was about to happen? The accident wasn't mere misfortune. Many on set spoke of a heavy atmosphere, as if something larger loomed. Art may imitate life, but here it seemed to predict it. The industry revamped safety protocols after this tragedy, but can destiny be altered? Sometimes it feels like shadows linger beyond our control. The sound of the rotor blades, the screams, and the silence that followed. These memories are the kind of terror that stays with you even after the theater lights fade. Perhaps that's the real horror, not what we see, but what haunts us long after the screen goes dark. Do you believe a film can be cursed? The Omen isn't just a horror classic, it's a real fact of eerie productions. During filming, crew members' chartered planes were struck by lightning. Once might be a coincidence, but when 2 different planes experience the same fate, it starts to feel like an ominous warning. It didn't stop there. A technician working on the film suffered a devastating car accident after its release. The chilling detail: the accident involved a decapitation, eerily mirroring one of the film's most iconic scenes. Even animals on set seemed disturbed, with dogs attacking crew members without reason. Do animals have a sixth sense? Perhaps they saw what we couldn't. Meanwhile, tragedy struck again when the special effects consultant's wife died in a separate accident. Afterward, he avoided discussing the film. Could it be that some stories are too dangerous to tell? Or was it all coincidence? What would you do if your work began consuming more than your energy, but your luck or even your life? Sometimes, questions like these don't have simple answers. The sound of thunder, the eerie accidents, the silent unease of animals, these elements linger long after the credits roll, perhaps for a reason. Do you still think terror is confined to the screen? These stories remind us that the unknown may be closer than we think. Are you ready to face what happens when fiction and reality blur? Each tale teaches us something. Respect the unseen, or realize that what we call chance might not be random at all. Now, think with me. What if something similar happened to you? An old object in your home, an inexplicable sound in the dead of night, or that eerie sensation of being watched? Would you know what to do? More importantly, would you know how to stop it from going further? Maybe it's time to confront your own fears. If these stories intrigued you and you want to keep exploring the darker side of the world, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Here, we unravel the most unsettling mysteries with a touch of suspense to keep you on edge. Do you have the courage to go deeper? Come with me, there's much more waiting in the shadows.